There are moments in life when the mirror doesn't reflect who we truly are. Not because we've changed beyond recognition, but because we've forgotten how to see ourselves. We live in a world where people wear smiles and hide storms, where success is measured by speed rather than depth, and where change is feared more than failure. But let me tell you one thing: you are not defined by what happened yesterday. You are born with the power to redefine yourself every single day. Each morning, the sun rises not just to light up the earth, but to give you a new canvas, to give you another chance to rewrite your story. This speech is not just a collection of words, it's a reminder, a mirror, and a moment of truth. Because every day is a chance to change yourself, and the time is always now. Let us walk through 5 powerful truths, 5 heartbeats of transformation that can help you embrace the beauty of change. Embrace the power of small beginnings. Sometimes we wait for the perfect moment to begin, but we don't realize that perfection is the biggest illusion that keeps us trapped in inaction. Small beginnings often look like nothing. They don't come with applause or spotlight. But within those tiny moments of courage lies the potential to shift an entire destiny. The problem is, we often dismiss these beginnings because they don't look big enough. We think that change should be loud, dramatic, life-altering in a second, but change is quieter. It whispers before it roars. A seed doesn't shout as it grows into a tree. It breaks the soil in silence, hidden, humble. That is how transformation begins. Every time you choose to rise from bed, even when your soul is weary, that's change. Every time you choose a kind word instead of anger, that's change. Every time you write one line of your dream book, speak one truth, take one breath deeper than before, that's change. It's not loud, but it's real. We underestimate the power of what's small because we're taught to only celebrate what's successful. But success doesn't grow without roots. And the roots grow underground in darkness, in silence, in discipline, in effort no one sees. Small beginnings test your patience. They force you to believe in yourself when there's no evidence yet. That's where your power is born. In the belief that something tiny can become something transformative. What if I told you that you're already changing? That with every choice you make today, you're not who you were yesterday? What if I told you that the decision you made this morning to keep going, to keep trying, was enough? You don't need a grand stage to begin. You just need a little bit of you, little bit of hope, little bit of movement forward. You're not behind, you're just at the beginning. And beginnings are sacred. They carry the energy of rebirth. You may not see it yet, but the version of you that you're becoming is growing quietly behind the scenes. Honor that. Protect that. Celebrate that. You don't need others to see the progress when you know what's shifting inside. Don't wait for the right time. The right time is not a date on a calendar. It's the moment you decide. It's the moment you stop waiting for permission. It's the moment you say, maybe I don't have everything figured out, but I'm ready to begin. That moment can be now. And now is powerful. Now is where lives change. Small beginnings require big courage. Courage to start without knowing the end. Courage to move when the path isn't clear. Courage to plant when you can't predict the harvest. And yet, it's this kind of courage that creates miracles, not in one day, but every day, little by little. So many people give up because they don't see results fast enough. But change is not about speed, it's about direction. Every drop of effort you pour into your day adds up. Every drop becomes a stream. The stream becomes a river. And the river, in time, carves valleys and nourishes lands. Be patient with the process. Your stream is flowing even when it feels dry. You don't need to do everything today. You just need to do something. Even if it's small, even if it's imperfect, even if it's invisible to others, do one thing that moves you toward the person you're becoming. Progress is progress, no matter how small. People may not notice your first step, but one day they'll wonder how you got so far. And when they do, you'll smile and nod because they finally saw you, but because you never stopped. You honored the beginning, you trusted the climb, you walked even when you felt like crawling. We are often so quick to applaud big victories, but the real heroes are those who start when no one's watching, who keep going when no one's clapping, who whisper to themselves in the dark, I am not giving up. That whisper becomes your anthem. That whisper becomes your power. Start where you are. Use what you have. Begin with whatever is within your reach. You may not have the map, but you have the first step. And one step is all you need to start a journey that can change your world. The courage to take that first step is the most powerful thing you'll ever carry. If you're breathing, you have time. If you're alive, you have opportunity. If you can feel, you have purpose. Today might look like a repeat of yesterday, but it's not. Today is a blank page. Write something on it, even if it's just a single word of change. There's no shame in starting small. There's only power in choosing to start at all. A single drop of water begins the flood. A single spark begins the fire. A single step begins the revolution. The life you dream of is waiting for you to begin not with perfection, but with presence. Show up for yourself. Start today. Start trembling. Start messy. Start scared. But start. You don't have to have the confidence yet. You just need the courage. Because the more you start, the more you grow. And one day, that small beginning will no longer be small. It will be the foundation of everything beautiful in your life. Let go of who you were to become who you are. There comes a time in every journey when we must make a brave choice to loosen the grip of the past. Not because the past wasn't real, but because holding on to it is stopping us from becoming something more. Often, the version of ourselves we've outgrown still lingers in our thoughts, our reactions, our silence. It shows up not to harm us, but to remind us where we once stood. But if we want to rise, we must first release. You cannot step into your future with hands full of your history. The weight of who you used to be will always try to pull you back into familiar places. Places where you kept your voice small. Places where you apologized for existing. Places where your dreams were put on hold just to keep others comfortable. You don't belong there anymore. Letting go is not rejection, it is recognition. Recognition that you deserve growth. That your pain, your doubts, your guilt from yesterday do not define the person you're becoming today. You're allowed to outgrow the thoughts that once kept you safe. You're allowed to say goodbye to beliefs that no longer serve your healing. Sometimes, the hardest person to forgive is the version of ourselves that didn't know better. The one who stayed in the wrong place too long. The one who kept quiet when they should have spoken. The one who loved too much or too little, not out of weakness, but out of fear. But growth is not about punishment. Growth is about understanding. And when you understand yourself, you no longer need to carry shame. Transformation doesn't mean becoming someone else. It means peeling off the layers that were never really you. The layers of fear, of doubt, of broken narratives that said you weren't enough. Your true self was always there, buried beneath the weight of survival. Letting go is the process of remembering that truth. We often think that our past defines our value, but value isn't something you earn, it's something you already have. And when you begin to see yourself, not through the lens of your mistakes, but through the mirror of your resilience, everything begins to shift. You start realizing you are not broken. You are becoming. And becoming is messy. It's full of questions without answers, full of moments where you feel like you're unraveling. But that unraveling is necessary. Because before you can rebuild yourself, you must be willing to shed what was never truly yours. Be willing to step into the unknown without dragging the chains of your old identity behind you. It takes strength to let go. Not because letting go is passive, but because it requires trust in what you can't yet see. Trust that something greater is waiting. Trust that your heart will lead you home. And trust that it is okay to be a beginner, again, in the process of becoming whole. People will try to remind you of who you used to be, not because they want to hurt you, but because it's easier to define you by what they remember. But you are not obligated to stay small for someone else's comfort. You are not a statue carved in stone. You are living, breathing, changing every day. And change is your strength. There is a silent beauty in letting go, a quiet freedom in no longer needing to defend the past. You start creating space for peace, for clarity, for joy. And in that space, you meet yourself again, not as the person you were, but as the person you were always meant to become. And that meeting, it changes everything. You'll feel grief, not just for the pain, but for the comfort you found in staying where you were. Change will test your loyalty to your own growth. You will be tempted to go back to what is familiar, even when it no longer fits. But I promise you, every time you choose to grow, you honor your soul. The world may not understand your need to let go, but this journey is not for their understanding, it is for your healing. And healing is not always visible. Sometimes it's simply the quiet decision to stop carrying what was never yours to begin with. That quiet decision is an act of courage. You're not betraying your past by moving on, you're honoring it. You're saying thank you for the lessons and walking forward. The past was a chapter. It was not the whole book. Let it be part of your story, but not your prison. Set yourself free. If you want to change your life, you must first change what you're willing to carry. You don't have to drag your old identity into your new future. You get to rewrite the script. You get to reintroduce yourself to the world, one brave decision at a time. You are never meant to stay the same. Nature doesn't stay the same. The sky changes, the trees shed, the tide shifts. And so must you. You are not failing because you're changing. You are finally becoming honest. You are finally becoming real. You are finally becoming you. Your struggles are not setbacks, they are setups for growth. We've been taught to fear struggle, to hide it, to be ashamed of it. But the truth is, our greatest growth never comes from comfort, it comes from chaos. The most beautiful parts of us are not born in peace. They are forged in fire. Struggles are not detours on your journey. They are the very road that shapes your strength, chisels your wisdom, and deepens your soul. There is a certain pain that doesn't just break you, it awakens you. It teaches you to see life differently. It cracks you open so that the light can finally reach the places within you that have stayed dark for too long. The days you cried yourself to sleep, the moments you doubted your worth, the nights you questioned your existence, those were not wasted. They were sacred because you survived them. We often try to hide our scars as though they're signs of weakness, but scars are not evidence of defeat, they are proof of healing. They are the tattoos of the battles you've walked through, the storms you've stood in, and the life you've lived. Don't ever apologize for your struggle, instead honor it. Because that struggle is the reason you're still standing. When everything around you is falling apart, it's easy to think you're being punished. But maybe, just maybe, you're being prepared. You're not falling, you're being reshaped. The cracks in your life are not signs of failure, they are the very spaces where your strength begins to grow. You don't need to be fixed. You just need to be found by yourself. Every time life breaks you, it also builds something in you. You learn how to breathe through pain. You learn how to speak kindness to yourself in the silence. You learn how to rise without applause and how to rebuild from ruins. That strength, it's not something you borrow from someone else. It's something you build with every breath, every step, every decision to try again. It's in the struggle that we meet ourselves. Not the version we present to the world, but the raw, honest, unfiltered soul beneath it all. And it's in that meeting that real change happens. That's when we realize that the struggle didn't take anything from use, it revealed what was already inside us. It uncovered our endurance, our patience, our courage. Sometimes we think strength looks like never falling. But strength is the ability to fall and still rise. Again and again and again. Struggles don't make you weak, they make you human. And being human means being able to bend, to break, and still find a way to bloom. The hardest days don't come to defeat you, they come to develop you. They teach you lessons no book ever could. Lessons about compassion, resilience, empathy, faith. They teach you how to connect with others in pain, how to listen more deeply, how to live more meaningfully. Struggle softens the heart and sharpens the spirit. Growth doesn't come when life is easy. It comes when you have every reason to give up, but you don't. When the weight of your past threatens to bury you, but you dig your way out. When your heart has been shattered, but you keep it open. This is the strength no one sees, but it's the strength that saves you. You are not broken because you're struggling, you're breaking through. And breakthroughs don't look pretty. They come with tears, with silence, with fear, but they also come with clarity, with self-discovery, with freedom. You don't grow despite the pain, you grow because of it. Look back on your life and you'll see. The person you are today was shaped by the days that nearly broke you, and yet you're still here. Not the same, not untouched, but stronger, wiser, more compassionate. This isn't weakness, this is transformation, this is rising. You don't have to have it all together. You just need to keep moving forward. Struggles will come, and they will leave. But what they leave behind is what matters. A deeper version of you, a more grounded soul, a more resilient heart, the version of you that knows what it means to fight, to fall, and to fly again. So the next time life pushes you to your knees, remember, you are not being buried, you are being planted. And in time, you will rise. Taller, brighter, unshakable. The struggle is not the end. It's the beginning of a stronger, wiser, more powerful you. Your story is not defined by the pain, but by how you chose to grow from it. Don't fear the struggle, welcome it. Because what you build in the storm will outshine anything you could have built in the sunshine. Consistency is more powerful than motivation. Motivation is beautiful, but it is fleeting. It's like the morning breeze, refreshing, energizing, but temporary. You cannot build your life on something that disappears the moment the mood changes. What truly transforms lives is not motivation, it's consistency. It's the quiet, steady rhythm of showing up, especially on the days when you don't feel like it, especially on the days when the fire is gone and the sky feels heavy. We often wait for motivation to strike like lightning, hoping it will carry us through our dreams. But motivation doesn't always knock on the door. Some days it forgets to show up. And on those days, what saves you is your discipline, your commitment, your why. Because when everything else fades, your consistency becomes your compass. Consistency is not loud. It doesn't make headlines. It doesn't ask for applause. It's the small, often unseen decision to keep going, to write one more page, to take one more step, to speak one more affirmation, to keep doing what matters, not because you feel like it, but because you believe in it. That quiet belief, that's your real strength. There is a false idea that people who achieve great things always feel inspired. But inspiration is a wave. And you can't wait for a wave to move, you must become the current yourself. You must learn to work when it's dark, to create when it's silent, to move even when no one is watching. That is what separates dreamers from doers. Consistency teaches you something. Motivation never can. It teaches you trust. Trust in yourself, trust in your process, trust in the fact that your small daily efforts are not in vain. Even when there are no results yet, no visible change, no breakthrough in sight, you trust because you've made a promise to yourself and you keep it. The most beautiful things are not built in moments of excitement. They are built in repetition, in routine, in the quiet rituals that seem mundane but carry the soul of greatness. The most disciplined artist, the strongest athlete, the most successful dreamer, they all live in the space of consistency, not inspiration. There will be days you want to quit. Days when everything you're doing feels pointless. When the dream feels too far and the progress feels too slow. But consistency whispers, keep going. Not because the journey is easy, but because it is worth it. Because the version of you on the other side is waiting. We don't rise overnight, we rise slowly. Like the sun, inch by inch, moment by moment. You don't need to climb the whole mountain today. You just need to take one step, and then another, and then another. Because one day when you look back, you'll realize you've climbed farther than you thought possible. Consistency is not about perfection. It's about presence. It's about showing up. Even if all you can give today is 60% of your best, that 60% still matters. Because over time, those less than perfect efforts add up. They build resilience, they build character, they build momentum. Think about the ocean. It doesn't roar every day. Some days it's calm, almost still. But even in that stillness, it moves. Tides shift, waves come. Progress is not always visible, but it's always happening. So even if you can't see the change yet, trust that something inside you is evolving. You are not falling behind. You are simply learning the pace of your own progress. Some people sprint, others walk, some crawl. But what matters is that you keep moving. Because every step, no matter how small, is a declaration that you haven't given up. And that declaration is powerful. You don't need to be the most talented, the smartest, the fastest. You just need to be the one who doesn't quit. The one who wakes up and says, I will try again today, and then does it. That daily devotion, that is what creates transformation. That is what rewrites futures. You will have setbacks. You will have doubts. You will have moments where everything feels too heavy. But consistency is the decision to carry the weight anyway. To rise with the burden, to show the world, and more importantly, to show yourself that you are not defined by how you feel, but by what you choose. Every time you show up, you cast a vote for the person you want to become. One day, those votes will add up to a life you're proud of. A life that reflects your effort, your grit, your courage. Not just in grand gestures, but in quiet, ordinary acts of faith repeated day after day after day. So don't wait for motivation to find you. Build a life that doesn't depend on it. A life anchored in intention, in purpose, in persistence. And watch how that quiet, consistent effort becomes the loudest testimony of your strength. At the end of the day, life doesn't demand perfection. It only asks for presence. And every new sunrise that touches your window isn't just light. It's a quiet invitation. An invitation to start again, to believe again, to try again. You don't need a new year, a perfect moment, or anyone's permission to become more of who you are meant to be. You just need today. Because every day is a chance to change yourself, not to become someone else, but to return to the version of you that's honest, brave, and whole. You see, change doesn't come wrapped in fireworks or grand celebrations. It comes in whispers. It shows up in those quiet moments when you choose peace instead of panic. It breathes through the silence when you speak kindness to yourself. It walks with you when you keep going, even when the path is lonely. That's change. That's real transformation. It doesn't need noise, it only needs you. You have walked through fire and still stand. You have fallen and still risen. You have doubted and still moved forward. That's your power. Don't ever underestimate it. You are proof that it is possible to be both soft and strong, to be afraid and still take the next step, to be uncertain and still believe in the possibility of a better tomorrow. Let go of the guilt of yesterday. Embrace the gift of this moment. And walk into the future with courage, because you're unafraid, but because you know now that fear doesn't define you. Choices do. And today, you get to choose again. Choose hope. Choose healing. Choose growth. You may not control what life hands you, but you do control how you rise in response. That's your freedom. That's your magic. You are not stuck. You're in the middle of becoming. You're not lost. You're on the way to discovering. You're not late. You're right on time for your next chapter. So wherever you are right now, on your knees, in a storm, or standing in a silent victory, remember this. You can begin again. Not just once, not just when the world says so, but every single day. Every breath you take is a new beginning. Every morning is another blank canvas. Paint with love. Rewrite your story. Rebuild your strength. Reclaim your power. Because the journey to becoming the best version of yourself doesn't begin on a calendar date. It begins the moment you decide, I am ready to change. And if that moment is now, then now is enough. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are becoming. And that becoming, it begins today. Because every day is a chance to change yourself, and this one belongs to you.